everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode where I'm talking with some of the composers off of my upcoming album, Delta Waves. Today, we are going to be talking a little about My Darling Pearl for tenor saxophone and piano. Now, Janay, thank you for meeting with me in California so early, I know.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So I just wanted to start off by talking a little about how this piece even came to be. We met at Midwest back in 2019 when Midwest was actually in person.
Yes.
And you're at the MCI booth, and that was your first time at Midwest, right?
Yeah, it was my first few months with MCI and my first time at Midwest, my first time doing a lot of band related stuff. So that whole weekend was very fun for me. So it was also really nice because I think you were one of the only people I really connected with that weren't in the initiative. So I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm connected.
No, I'm glad you said that. It was the same thing for me. It was like, I talked to people, but like, it just kind of ended after that conversation. You were one of the people I actually met, and we ended up actually doing a collaboration.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's almost like that's what these conferences are for.
Oh my God, really?
Because it was my first time at Midwest too. It's overwhelming at first. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, no, having the initiative was so helpful because I had people to guide me through things and hang out. And when I was working the booth, I had people to sit with me and kind of help me. And
Yep.
All the guys in the group are so great. Everyone that showed up was so much fun to hang out with. So I'm sad that I wasn't at 21 yet because I couldn't go to all the late night things with everybody.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like that is the other thing Midwest is all about.
Yeah.
That's where the networking really happens. That was my first time at Midwest. I had known MCI and a lot of the members for a while. I've worked with Josh more times than I can count at this point. And I had worked with a lot of the other composers in MCI with my chamber ensemble, The Blank Experiment. So I was sure to check out that booth periodically. And I saw you were there, and we talked a little about your piece you wrote for the Holland Jazz Orchestra.
Yes, that was Birdie Banter, which the inspiration, you might be able to hear it on microphone. I have my two birds, and they're loud, and I love them. But right, so that was my only band piece I had. And then you showed up and you started mentioning how you've been looking for short pieces, which was awesome because Birdie Banter, which is a 10-minute piece, is an anomaly for me. Normally I do like 2 to 4 minute pieces. So you mentioned that and I was like, oh, something I can do. That's so cool. And then I mentioned that to you and you got excited and I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun.
No, I mean, that's exactly what I was hoping for. And that's exactly what this piece turned out to be. Like, I love 30-minute pieces. There are plenty of 30-minute pieces that I've played and plenty that I want to play, but sometimes it's just nice to have a 2-minute piece that I can plug into any performance or any recital. Like, I feel like when it's a 30-minute piece, I really have to program the entire recital around it.
Yeah.
But with 2-minute pieces, I can easily just throw in a lot. And what's really nice for this album is I have 11 pieces on this that are going to be on this album, but it's still just about 60 minutes of music. Because a lot of them are shorter pieces. This piece is 2.5 minutes. Dr. Andrew Mead's piece is probably close to 2.5. Ryan's piece is about 4. So there's a lot of shorter pieces and some more substantially long pieces, 10, 15 minutes. But no, I think it's nice to have those short pieces to throw all together in the recital or in a recording session. So can you talk a little about the piece, your inspiration behind it? I mean, My Darling Pearl, it's a very programmatic piece, and I know we've talked about that a little bit, but can you share your inspiration behind writing it?
Yeah, so ever since I was about 12, I started having this strong fascination with Japanese culture, and I started getting really into it to the point where I was able to actually go to Japan and be in the culture, and I started learning the language, and there's no reason for me to love it. I'm Italian and Irish, but it's just so fascinating to me. And the summer before I wrote the piece, I had gone to Japan to study traditional Japanese instruments. So I did a intensive week-long thing where I went and I got to study the koto and the shamisen and it's not the Eru, it's the Japanese version the Kokyu, that's what it's called. It's like a Japanese traditional violin, and the shakuhachi. So those were the four things. And the shakuhachi and the koto especially took inspiration for My Darling Pearl. And so when I got home, I realized I hadn't really done anything with that knowledge. And so having this commission opportunity, I was like, okay. I managed to create something that was reminiscent of my experience there. And I was really happy because that was one of the first times I really did anything with my passion for Japanese culture. And then I got to actually name it too. So My Darling Pearl's in English, and the Japanese title that is also on the score, you read it as Watashi no Darin Shinju. And I just think it's really pretty. So
no, and that especially comes across in the music. I think it's just an absolutely gorgeous piece. Like the tenor saxophone, I think, has just such a big variety of music. There's everything from multiphonics and just multiphonics, the jazz music, and then you have pieces like this that I think just really show its beauty, its versatility in all different registers. It shows like almost a singing quality to the instrument. And I that's something I really appreciated when you first sent over the score.
I'm glad. I think the only other time I've written for saxophone was back my freshman year of college. And it wasn't even tenor sax, it was soprano sax. It was my fourth piece I ever wrote because it was the first piece I wrote in college. And I came to college with only 3 things of music. So the fact I got into music school, I'm very proud of. But yeah, so that piece, it was a soprano sax with cello accompaniment. And it was, I don't even remember how it sounds at this point. It's been so long. It was called Miss Stacy Dennings Bradley. It was just a weird, fun piece that I had to write for my composition studio concert that we had every semester. That was my piece for that semester. So
okay,
it was really fun.
Yeah, and I think the tenor saxophone is it's a very forgotten instrument in the saxophone world and in the classical world in general. There's so many soprano and alto pieces, but
yeah.
I'm really glad to have this addition to the tenor saxophone repertoire. So like you mentioned earlier, and like I know you write for a lot of different mediums. How does your compositional process differ between writing for film, writing for video games, to writing for chamber music, pieces like this?
So the way I start tends to be somewhat similar, where it's me, I sit at a piano and I start playing around until I get something I like. And it's a really meditative state. So I kind of just go into it and I don't remember how I got to it at the end, but I get somewhere. And so with chamber music, I immediately write to paper or notation software, same thing. And then I just work from there because I can visualize it. Whereas for, let's say, gaming, because it's such a fluid medium where everything needs to be adaptable, I tend to not focus so much on a score because that feels more strict, and I'll just kind of play directly into my DAW. I use Logic because I also really appreciate more of the sounds in there for what I'm going for, because I love synthesizers. And for chamber works, it's not usually fitting, but for gaming, as long as what the genre is, it can fit pretty much anything. And so, yeah, I will just play directly into it. I might write down something for the sake of me being able to read it so it's easier to play. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I would, general thing, concert work and film too, actually, more strict. I use a score and just try not to go too all over the place. Gaming, it's much more fluid, and for better or for worse. With gaming, I am more limited to my performance ability because I will actually do what I can as a pianist to manually input it myself.
Okay. And are you is piano your main instrument?
Yeah, I've been playing since I was 5, and I'm still doing it. I'm not a piano performance major or anything, but it's the instrument I do study because my
Mhm.
school requires all music majors,
Okay.
regardless of what you're doing, need to be studying a primary instrument.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Got it. Um, okay. Well, great. Is there anything else you think any of the listeners might be interested to know about you, know about the piece? Anything
um,
else you would like to share? The floor is totally open.
uh,
I'm totally putting you on the spot.
yeah, I wish I knew about this before and I would have prepared something. Um, I have a website, janaymaisanomusic.com. Most of my works are there. It links you to all of them on my SoundCloud and has a little bio, and you can contact me if you're interested in getting a copy of My Darling Pearl or anything at all. I'm pretty available. Um, uh, and with this piece, not really. I mean, it's a lovely piece. I'm glad people seemed to take the reception of it really well when you uploaded the first performance of it on YouTube.
No, I couldn't agree more. It seemed like everyone really enjoys the piece, myself included. I really love the piece. I'm super excited for this upcoming recording project. I think it's something that I think the saxophone needs. The saxophone needs short, pretty music, and that this piece is absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm good. I'm excited
Well,
for this. I really am. Especially, I'm graduating in April, so to be leaving college and this as something that's happening during that time, especially right now with the world, I don't know.
yes.
It's hard enough for anybody to find work in whatever field, but with music, it's it's a whole nother ball game. So I'm glad that I'm a part of something right now. It makes me very happy, and I'm really glad for the opportunity.
Well, no, I'm super happy to have you and all the other composers on board. I mean, when COVID hit, like everyone, so many concerts canceled, so many projects that had to be scrapped. So going into my first year of grad school, I was trying to think, what can I do? What can I bring to the community? Because when I first got there, it didn't look like COVID was going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I had to plan something that I could actually do. And recording album of all tenor saxophone music has been something I've wanted to do forever. I've been I started playing the tenor saxophone in middle school, and I think it's just a very underappreciated instrument. And then I'm very excited. This album, all the pieces are the oldest pieces from 2007.
Oh, okay.
So I really want this album to be about the pieces. I don't want it to just be me showing off. Look how cool I am. Look how fast I can play. Look how high I can play. I want it to be here is the diversity of music being written in the 21st century for tenor saxophone. There's everything from stuff with no mouthpiece, stuff like this. There's serial music. There's just a huge variety of music in terms of style, but also in terms of length. There's 2-minute pieces. There's 10-minute pieces. Composers from Europe, America. There's just a lot going on in the album, and that's something I really want to showcase in it.
Well, I'm excited to hear all of it together. I don't think I've had the chance to hear any of the other pieces yet, so.
Well, if you or anyone listening is interested, that's a great segue. If you or anyone is interested in upcoming performances of some of the pieces off of the album, you can check out andrewhosler.com/delta waves, where you can find interviews with some of the composers off the album. You can find upcoming performances of a lot of the pieces over the next coming months. You can find out information about the Kickstarter and some of the really cool rewards you can get if you're able to donate to helping the album, and so much more. So check it out, andrewhosler.com/delta waves. And thank you so much again for meeting with me so early in California. I know.
That's all right. I'll live. But thank you for having me. It's been really fun.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching.